So a warm welcome to everybody and welcome to our Thursday morning gathering brought to you by Harvard Pilgrim Healthcare and Tufts Health Plan. We come under the auspice of Point 32 Health, which is our parent company, and delighted to be with you on this, well, here at least looks like possibly rainy Thursday. And so this morning, so yesterday was the last session of the 4-session program that Kel Juilliard has been leading for us. And yesterday's session was on savoring, things that we savor really at any time of the year, but anything that feels prevalent to you now. And so I want to share a few responses from folks who attended the sessions. And then also, as I'm doing that, feel free to go ahead and put what you savor into the chat. So Karen says, this week I've been savoring the cooler, sometimes rainy weather as an opportunity to do some cooking. Looking forward to new recipes. Colleen says, making chicken stock for winter soups. It's funny, a lot of these are related to the weather. Ever since discovering the Body Electric podcast, this is from Angelique, which she says is worth checking out. I have been trying to take short movement breaks every 25 minutes, but she says she hasn't had a lot of success. But one of the listeners suggested putting on short music clips, and dancing. So she's been doing that. Jen said just loves wearing a big sweater and a sweatshirt and having a cup of tea at home. Another savoring the feeling of fall. Tammy says nice to have a rainy day as a change of pace, though was feeling like she wanted to bring a little summer inside. Love savory foods. Yeah, interesting. And, feel free, for those of you on the call, just to put in, what are some things that comfort you, that make you feel good? And, there is something about this short transition time between, fall and heading into winter, just these few short months that I really do savor, because we can still get outside. I mean, you can still, of course, and I do get outside in the winter. But there is something, for me, I feel like it's probably my favorite time of year. So I feel that kind of savoring, but also very conscious of impermanence, right? And that's the beauty, I think, of embracing impermanence, is knowing that, that things change. And I think it actually beginning to deeply understand that actually helps us be more fully present with whatever it is that is going well, that we're happy about. Spending time in the White Mountains in the bowl of, yes, extra attention to feeling and sound of the wind and the movement of the trees. Yeah. Savoring the fall decor in home and embracing the change of season. Yeah. Yeah, I think just again, like being out in nature and in it's so awe-inspiring. Even the smallest things that we notice are incredibly awe-inspiring. And the sounds, seasonally it changes. And yeah, interesting. This morning I have acres of woods behind my house that I don't own, but so my house is situated right in front of some land that neighbors own, but it's about 14 acres. And I go out in the morning, and some of I thought I heard an owl, which is not all that unusual, but there's something incredibly like comforting and easeful about nature just doing its thing. And yeah, I just loved that. So with that, let's go ahead and move into our practice this morning. And You can do this seated, you can do it lying down. You could do a standing practice. So if you're feeling especially sleepy, standing is a really good practice. And of course, eyes open, especially if you're standing, but gaze down. If you're seated and sleepy, eyes open, gaze down. But either way, the eyes, you would just want to do what's most supportive for you. So go ahead and just settle your body into a position that feels engaged, so that you are upright with a spine that is straight but not stiff, letting go of all that has happened so far this morning, and releasing anticipation of what is next. So bringing the mind and the body together, and you've allotted this time for yourself, nowhere else to be and nothing else to do but practice. So we're practicing steadying our minds. We're not trying to stop thought. We're just trying to bring some stability to the wandering mind. And it's also a great opportunity to see one's own habit patterns of mind. Where do we see the swirl of thought? What is the tendency? Is it planning or worry or fretting? Or optimism, but what are the tendencies? And it can vary depending on what's going on in our life, but we do tend to have some tendencies that in sitting in practice helps us see with more clarity. So it's always good news to see what your mental habit patterns are, and that allows you to make some adjustments as needed. And so as you're seated or standing or lying down, fully here, mind and body in this moment, really tapping into what physical sensations you're aware of. So that could be just simply the points of contact all along the soles of the feet or the back of the body and the surface that you're on. So you're feeling from the inside out. If you're seated or if you're standing, soles of the feet, what are you feeling? What do you notice? And then what other sensations are making themselves known in this moment from your activity so far this morning? Pulsing, tingling, vibration, temperature. It's like you're a scientist and you're also the subject. So you're approaching your mind and your body, thoughts, emotions, and body sensations with an attitude of receptivity. So some of this could be pleasant, some might be unpleasant, some probably fall somewhere in the middle, not strongly pleasant or unpleasant, more neutral. It doesn't really matter, whatever the feeling tone is, pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral. It's just simply receptive and allowing. And you'll see that every thought, emotion, and body sensation has an arising. It does its thing, and then it moves. And understanding these patterns deeply is what really helps us just to have more ease in general. So keeping with whole body awareness for a moment. Whole body experience, feeling whatever sensations are expressing in your body. And the mind will wander, not a problem at all. When you move into a memory, a narrative planning, just as soon as you notice it, gently make a note thinking, or just soften your body and bring your attention back to whole body sensations. And let's take a moment now to expand outside the body and bring in sound, allowing and receiving whatever sound is happening in the background, in the room or outside of the room. And allowing sound to remain in the background, arising and passing, or perhaps steady. Bringing awareness back in. Let's find an anchor for the wandering mind. So, something that we can return to over and over again to help stabilize or calibrate the busyness. And so that could be just the breath as you breathe in and out, wherever you feel it most prominently, where it's easiest for you to track. That could be belly, chest, or even just the whole carriage of the body, feeling the sensations of the movement of the body. Alternatively, you could use sound if there's a consistent sound, or open up the field of awareness. Or you could touch your hands to each other and the points of contact, or touch your palms to your thighs, and the point of contact could be your stabilizer. So really just take a moment to see what do you want to use this morning to help stabilize the wandering mind? And not get caught up in how often the mind slips into thought. That's not a problem at all. As soon as you see it, that's actually a really significant moment. And so when you see that the mind has wandered away, softening your body and bringing your attention back to whatever sensations are easiest for you in your body, or perhaps sound. Noticing where the mind is, softening the body. Just for a moment, awareness fully on your body, and return to whatever is your anchor. And noticing where your mind is and releasing the memory and softening the body. And as we bring this meditation to a close, may we be peaceful and at ease. May our heart be soft and open. May we be safe and protected, and our bodies healthy and strong. And may whatever good comes of our practice be of benefit to all beings. So taking a moment, if the eyes were closed or open but gaze down, just reorient to the room. And so we do have a little bit of time for Q&A and sharing resources. So any books or apps or films or shows that you've come across, podcasts that you think are worthwhile and contribute to our sense of well-being in some way, please feel free to share that. Also, if you have a question about your practice or anything that you would like to offer about your practice, so we've got time to do that. So, and of course, if anybody needs to hop off, you can hop off as well. So that was about a 13-minute practice. Somebody recently was asking about, because I don't always say how much time, but I got that question recently, and I think sometimes it's helpful to get a feel. That one, I don't know if that felt long or short, but it was right kind of at the 13-minute mark, maybe a little longer. So anybody, anything at all to share or to ask? Great series that Angelique, Body Electric. Yeah, I have never heard of that. So I'm definitely taking note of it. Thanks. And I know there has been a fair amount of research about how valuable it is to get up and move your body. And I think, regardless of what kind of setting you're in, whether you're home or if you're working in a professional office, just to start to integrate some movement it feels really important because it can be easy to sit and kind of get absorbed in a project and then realize that you haven't moved in an hour and a half or 2 hours. And yeah, the research on that is showing that's not great. So, but it seems pretty simple to incorporate movement. What else? Let's see. They're noting the cumulative effect. Oh, wow, great. There was a lot of noise and activity outside this morning, and I noticed how not awesome. Heather, thank you so much for just like offering that, because I think, I mean, what I have noticed in this practice, just in my own practice, is that it's really subtle. Like, so it's to do this practice, you have to have some degree of trust and patience, because it's not like the results just happen like overnight. Like, okay, I've just meditated and now I'm starting to feel like I have more ease in my life, but that it builds. And um, that's a really good way to notice. It's not an uncommon question. How do I know how do I know this is working? And the way you know it's working is if you have just a little more space with, say, that person who pushes your buttons, or if you get easily annoyed by something, let's say driving, and you see that your annoyance volume is down a little bit. Like, it's a good indicator that you are finding a little bit more balance. That's really great. Practice helped me get through my daughter's wedding this weekend. Every little problem didn't rev me up. That is great. That's Susan, that is, yeah, really good noticing. I think one of the things for me, like early in practice, that was kind of startling, and it's sort of good news, bad news, is that I talked about mental habit patterns earlier, is that we all have them. But over time, you see them with greater clarity. So you're like, yes, like this is a thought loop that I can easily get stuck in. And yet what starts to happen is that it's not like that goes away, but it just hooks you less. So it still appears, it still shows up, but you're less gripped. And then that enables you to have kind of more agility and facility with how you engage with whatever the issue might have been. So like less reactivity around it, more responsiveness. And I just think, that it's really a lifelong practice. And sometimes I think that those habit patterns of mind can be really strong. And one of the ways to work with them just informally is to just come out of the narratives and just come into the physical body. How does it actually, how is this thing manifesting in the body? So whether it's fretting, which I can fret, I kind of like that word too, but I can find myself in a fretting mode. That can be like a definite habit pattern of mind for me. I see it more quickly than I used to see it, and then come into the body, let it kind of run its course a bit. And the feelings around it are unpleasant, but they're unpleasant. And so the practice helps support that capacity to be with things that are unpleasant. Being with the pleasant is really valuable too, because you can, I'm a professional fretter. Fretting is such a good word. I think that it's just easier to see the patterns and then to actually be with them, feel the physicality of them, and move through your day, So the benefits of this practice are just enormous, but they are subtle. They're subtle, and build over time. So you're really getting to understand the nature of your mind, and you're understanding the nature of everybody else's mind. Not that you are a mind reader, but you are seeing that your mind works just like other minds. And I don't know, that was another like huge learning for me, where I felt like, I don't know, after some years of practice, I just was like, oh, this is what minds do, not just my mind. My patterns are deeply steeped in family and, all kinds of things that have shaped part of my fretting. But we all have them, so it's really good news to see it. Anybody else have anything at all that they want to say before we close out? We're about 8:58, so happy to take any other advice, comments, questions. Well, we're at 8:59, so I think we can call it a minute early. Really nice to be with everybody this morning. Thank you so much for joining, and we'll see you at these sessions on Tuesday. I'm not sure who the teacher is on Tuesday, but it'll be somebody great because our instructor pool, I think, is really, really superb. And for those of you that have been joining us on a regular basis, I think that you see that too. So, but have a really nice weekend. I think we're going to get some sun and enjoy. Okay, everybody, bye.